Today we're with Grant Van Eaton. He's a longtime participant and volunteer of the Queen City Marathon. He's also the president of Saskatchewan Athletics and the general manager of the XL Athletika track and field club here in Regina. Welcome, Grant.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great. So we'll get started today and just get you to tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your running journey, how you got started, what you kind of do now, and just running for you is what?
Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to start off first. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this. I really appreciate that. As you said, I am that in itself has allowed me the honor of being also involved with Athletics Canada. So track and field and running at a national level, which is extremely interesting for me. Also being the president and general manager of XL Athletika Track and Field Club has given me the honor of meeting and knowing tons of athletes, coaches, families involved in track and field and in running. My wife and I, Lana and I, have been members of the Gillette Pacers for probably, I don't know, 15 years or so. It seems to have gone really fast. So we've met a ton of really nice people, got really cool friends, done a lot of running through there as well. So that's kind of got me to volunteering with the QCM, which is, I have to say, been like an incredible blast. That's been a lot of fun.
And we really can't do it without the volunteers like yourself. I know you've done pacing for a big member of our pace team for a couple of years. Tell us a little bit about that experience when you're pacing those runners out there, kind of what distances you're working on with them, and what's the race like when you're out there pacing it? How does it kind of go?
You know, I have to say the first time I did it, I don't think I realized kind of what I was getting into. So I was, nervous that, I have this group of people depending on me to get them across the finish line at a certain time. It is completely different in some ways than running the event. I've been helping pace half marathons, and I have to say it's probably been a lot more, not probably, 100%, a ton more fun than running marathons for sure. I tend to try and ensure that they're having fun and making it fun around, getting people on the sidelines cheering, just keeping them active so they're not thinking about how tired they are, and getting to know them, getting to know the runners as we're going through the whole event and across the finish line. So it's been a lot of fun. I hope to continue doing it.
And once we get back to a little bit more normalcy in the racing, road racing industry, definitely we would love to have you back. Those pacers out there often are the lifeline for a lot of those runners. And like you're saying, it is a very different experience. And I always look at them as it's a very selfless experience, in that they're giving, and you're giving so much of your own, not only time, but experience and energy to bring those runners along at the time, at the pace that they were expecting to complete that race. So super cool. Now, I know you've done that in or that concept, at least, in other cities as well. Can you talk a little bit about your experience in Ottawa?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was called the Extra Mile Crew. And it's almost the same sort of concept, but we would join runners anywhere throughout the race. If they looked like they were struggling a bit, we would just ask them if they need some help. And then you end up running with them, right up till the end. I think the first time I did it, I ran 33K with a fellow, which I wasn't expecting to run that far with one person, but he just kept asking me, no, don't leave me. I don't know if I can do this. So that's a beautiful city and an amazing event to be involved in too. So yeah, I've done that a couple times. It was fun for sure.
Yeah, they put on a great event out there in Ottawa, and probably one of the biggest events, not only in Canada, but North America. Running right along the canal is beautiful. It's a little scary doing 33K and maybe not having that as the plan. I mean, thinking you might be doing little 1Ks back and forth and having to go that whole distance. Super amazing though, and that probably were one of the reasons why that individual was able to complete the race. So again, huge kudos to yourself and the whole Extra Mile team in Ottawa for helping those runners get in. It's kind of like a pacer, but over little chunks of the race. So cool concept.
Yeah.
For yourself, how about your own running? Are there goals that you've set for yourself over the next few months, years, decade of running? Are there races you're still looking at doing? And what are some of the highlights from your own personal running career, or things you're very proud of when you look back?
Well, you know, I'm not competitively running anymore. I have had, originally I started out in track and field. I was a master's track and field athlete. So I was doing a lot of 800s and 1500s there. But I am still running events, which is just I'm not racing them, or not I'm racing them, I guess, but I'm not competitively running them, I should say. So it's actually a different, almost a different mental approach to the event, where it's like I'm not all that worried about my time. So I'm probably enjoying it more, talking to more people, that kind of thing. So I want to do more of that. Certainly hoping to continue volunteering with the QCM. That's probably one of my goals. I guess some of the things I've been, that I would look back on and be proud of, probably one of the proudest moments, because like I said, Lana and I joined the Pacers a long time ago. We obviously have done a lot of running together. To be with her when she ran her first full marathon, and that was the New York Marathon. So that was pretty cool. I'm very proud of her, and I was very excited to be part of that. She qualified for Boston there, so unfortunately, this was the year she was doing Boston. So that's not happening for her, but pretty proud of her. Shauna, honestly, we've all watched lots of people cross the finish line as, we're cheering them on and see how excited they are. And we talked a little bit about this already, but to be with someone or a group of people from the start of the race, all the way through like a half marathon, and get to know them and know, maybe what they've done to get to that point, but to really get to know what they're doing through that race and be able to help them get across the finish line. I'm pretty proud of that. We've had particularly a couple of folks who that was their first marathon or first half marathon. And, they come up to me after, and talk to me and actually got pictures and stuff like that. So I'm fairly proud of doing that for sure.
You make probably some lifelong running friends through that activity. And those pictures for those individuals likely are the ones that are up on their mantle, because you're that kind of unique force that's really helped them through that first experience. And I mean, I remember what my first half and my first full were like, and definitely having someone close to you there that can drag you along and give you the positive words of encouragement to finish are so important to what we do. So that I can appreciate again that sentiment of those being kind of some of the proudest moments, both the family part with your wife, as well as your own volunteering experience. My son, I guess second son, my 4-year-old ran his first mini marathon last year, and I felt I was his own personal pace bunny. Not that he needed it. It was more of a nice. Make sure he finished, and that he didn't get distracted, as opposed to being able to run it. But it was very rewarding, again, being able to come across with someone like that. So I that kind of ties in both those, family and pacing. So I've never thought about it until now, about that kind of my pace experience, which I was looking forward to with 2 of my boys this year, being able to do. So unfortunately, I won't get that experience either. In terms of Boston, she'll get back there. It'll come. I know that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys will get a chance to take that whole experience in, because I think that's kind of one of those kind of holy shrines of the running world, and that people love to experience. You talked a little bit about your running community, being the Pacers is something you've run with a long time, and I know that the track and field club is a big part of that community as well. Can you just talk a little bit about how the community has helped you kind of stay with running and kept you motivated through the years that you've been doing this?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's interesting, how it kind of started, because I was basically taking our daughters to practice. They were both involved in track and field, all the way growing up and all the way through high school. And I just started running at the field house, and one of their coaches talked me into joining the club and getting much more involved in track and field, which turned out to be a lot of fun. Wasn't something I was planning on doing when I was dropping them off, but anyway, I ended up training with the kids group basically for the longest time, until one of them very politely suggested I should get my own friends and not run with their group. So shortly after that, we joined the Pacers. So yeah, I mean, it's the running community in Regina is huge, and you may not notice it as much right off the bat, but there's a lot of groups and a lot of clubs in town that can help you if you're looking to get into running with a club. I mean, certainly you can just do it on your own, but there's the running room is probably a really good place to start. I'll put a plug in for them. Athletika now is starting this year. They're running a road race training group. So if anybody's interested in joining Excel as a road racer, just check out the website. So, but there's no shortage of groups, and the community itself is amazing. We've met some absolutely amazing people. We have some absolutely amazing friends, have a ton of fun. Our family actually now, along with a lot of our really good friends, will travel across the country basically to run at some event somewhere. So that's a ton of fun. We've been doing that every year for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. So yeah, the community is amazing. Totally enjoy it.
Love that. Well, we'll wrap up here with, if you had any advice for a new or even a veteran runner, what would be the advice that Grant would like to share?
A couple things maybe. Unfortunately, I've had to take some breaks in running due to some medical situations. So my advice and I think most runners have had to experience that at some point, but don't give up. Keep get back out there when you're able to do that. One of the things I'd probably tell people is try different things. I honestly, as an 800-meter masters athlete, I never would have ever imagined I'd be running full marathons. So don't be scared to try different things. Probably the biggest thing I could say is enjoy it. If you're not enjoying, if you're not enjoying running, get up, and then you should change how you're running so that you are enjoying it, because you won't stick to it if you're not. If you find a pace or a method or a group that you're enjoying, you'll stick with it. It becomes a lifelong thing. So everything else falls in place if you're enjoying it.
Almost becomes more about the why than the what. So why do you run as opposed to what are you actually running? So I
exactly.
Some great thoughts there. You're saying when you went from shorter distance to longer distance, that sometimes in my head I'm popping here going, I should go from longer distance to shorter distance. Maybe that's what like 800 meters sounds sometimes a lot more manageable than going out and doing a 10 or a half marathon. Training, I'm sure, is exactly the same in terms of number of hours that you put in to do it well. But yeah, the whole idea that you can celebrate after 800 meters and instead of 10K, and that might have something for me to think about in the coming years here. So I appreciate that sage advice coming from you on that. But thank you very much for your time today, Grant. And we'll be watching for you hopefully doing your Queen City Marathon run virtually this year. And I'm sure we'll have you back at the start line pacing in a year or two once we're back to racing with a little bit more normal conditions. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.